to an enlightened Western mind, the question would come up. There are several properties and sense organs relating to several elements, and there is hearing, and there is touching, and there is the earth, and there's the water and the fire, and so on. And these are kind of parallel things, you know. There's water. I mean, what the hell? Why is there a hierarchy of that? So if you go into the Indian thinking, just what you're explaining, the way the elements are relating is such a basic fact. If you want to enter Indian thinking, that's the only way. I mean, you have to go through that, and I think just to go through the whole understanding why you are talking about elements in such an order and how they relate to each other is something which really needs a lot of discussion and understanding, because you have to really sort of, it has to be ingrained in you, because all the grammar and whatever is there goes according to that. It's not just a statement, but it's a real, you know, it's really the character of it's the substance. I mean, that's how you think, you know. This is just a remark, because I think question come up: why is hearing higher than touching, and all that? You know, these questions can come up, and there is, and this, of course, I mean, but this is, I mean, I always feel we're sitting here together for an hour, but it's years and years of study. I mean, I don't want to disclose everybody, but it's a big topic. My God, you know.
It's a huge topic, and it's a very difficult topic. So yes, that's very important. I want all of you to understand what it is that Peter's saying. That I'm not introducing the 5 elements and the 5 sense organs and the 5 senses lightly. The distinction of these 5 densities is going to inform the rest of this entire conversation, especially anything dealing with the elements of speech. We are always going to be referring to densities. So this is one of the reasons that I want you to appreciate this. And the way that the syllables are going to be known by you and used by you is going to be with a strong consideration of the densities involved. This is how sounds will combine and coalesce. This is how you will know how to look for points of articulation within your own mouth and within your own speech. All of this is based on densities. So this is a crucial thing for you to understand and to think about. Now, before we cut off, I just want to get into one more area, I think, before we call it an evening, and that is another very basic area of speech, whether we're talking about Sanskrit or whether we're talking about any other languages. Actually, before I say that, I really should say this, that yes, we are going to be talking a great deal about Sanskrit, and no, I don't feel that there is a necessary universal application of this. That's not my point. I'm not highlighting the workings of Sanskrit to say that this is the universal way that all speech works. I'm using this more as an analog, Sanskrit. That being said, I have noticed in my own explorations with English and a couple other languages and other people who have applied some of the principles to their languages that yes, there are correspondences, but let's not make this universal. Okay, the point I was going to make is the difference between vowels and consonants. Do all of you know the difference? Can you describe what the difference is between a vowel and a consonant? You only know because you've been taught that A, E, I, O, and U are vowels and the rest of them are consonants except for occasionally Y, I imagine. But there is a very specific distinction between vowels and consonants, that in the vocal apparatus, consonants are things that strike like a drum, that touch. Vowels do not touch. Vowels just, they are articulations that are carried on the breath and with the voice, but with no touching, with no striking. What is specific about a consonant is that it is struck. So if you go e, oo, you see that it's a continuous sound. It's a continuous articulation. There is nothing that is struck like a drum or something like this. However, when you go ka, ka, ga, ga, there is a striking in the vocal apparatus, and we'll notice that as we go through the varnamala, the system of akshars, of syllables. Note, I don't say alphabet because I think that's misleading, but as we go through the system of akshars, you will see that the striking takes place in different stations, and those stations will inform you of a density. What I would like to do in our next session is spend it exploring not the sounds that we make, but the articulations that we create and how those articulations, the combination of vowels and consonants, how they are analogs of other things rather than clones or mimicking of sound.
Of course, I mean, there's no intention or to say that Sanskrit is universal and the other languages are not universal, but there is a difference, and to me it seems that Sanskrit is a very, very precise, systematically arranged system of syllables, and it offers itself to a certain way of thinking, and that reflects in the Shastras. But of course, I mean, any old language is also good, and we are like the language we are talking in, so on. So it's not just it's not about universal. It is Sanskrit has a special property, and I think it would be helpful to have a little bit of Sanskrit. If you have a couple of years to spare, by all means learn it. It will enhance our dialogue. But of course, it's not that this is the only language of them.
It was the greatest thing. One of the greatest things I ever did in my life was to study Sanskrit. It's certainly one of the most exciting things that I've ever done. And along with what Peter's saying, I would even take that a step further, is that as we're going to see when we talk about some of the early Europeans that had their discovery of Sanskrit, very largely in Germany actually, that Sanskrit is the model for all of modern linguistics and most modern thinking about speech, and certainly the IT, computer, internet revolution. This is based entirely on meta-language, and a language that describes and operates another language, which is exactly what Panini did with his Ashtadhyayi. And if we're lucky, in a future session, we will have Aussie come in and tell us a little bit about some of these connections, especially as it relates to computer code.